My name is Adam Condit. My wife here, Alicia, can't be with us right now. She's with our two youngest children. I just got done taking my oldest to second grade, kind of dropping him off, which is kind of part of my story here with being an entrepreneur. This startup has only been going for about 6 weeks. We've had our store open for about 6 weeks here in the Eau Claire, South Barstow district, downtown. We opened a specialty running store. But before I kind of get into that and get into my morning here, I'll kind of back up with where this all started, which was kind of across the street here, maybe across the street over there, University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. My wife and I both ran cross country and track. This is a picture of us in our first year meeting. And with way less earrings and eyebrow rings and whatever, now we are, about 12 years later, moved back to Eau Claire. So Eau Claire, we've been finding out it's not that uncommon to have kind of a boomerang family or a boomerang person to leave. And I went to grad school. I got a job out east in the DC area, and then we moved to Iowa for a handful of years, and now we're back in Wisconsin where we love to be. So I'm originally from La Crosse. My wife is from Sheboygan. We're both from Wisconsin, and we feel at home here. But other than moving back to Wisconsin, this is quite the change for us. My background here at the university was I was a math and physics major. We didn't have an engineering program here, and so I went to grad school to get my master's degree. I have a master's in engineering mechanics and astronautics. My first job out of grad school, I was an aerospace engineer for three and a half years out by Washington, D.C. Worked for some government agencies. Moved to Iowa to be a little bit closer to family once we started having kids. And worked at a similar company there, a lot of defense stuff and government stuff, and then became a high school math teacher for a few years. I was a high school math teacher 1 year ago right now. Loved that job, absolutely loved it. Definitely took a bump in the salary department, right, making less money with that career change. And now, a couple years later, another bump down. We're making zero money per month right now with the startup. As far as what we pull from the business, we're not really pulling anything for the first 6 months. So that's kind of my weird story to get to where we are now, which is owning a brand new, kind of never been done before in Eau Claire specialty running store. What sets us apart from buying your shoes somewhere like Scheels or online or at a different kind of big box store is our personal professional people. Everyone that we will eventually hire, right now it's just myself and my wife, will be experienced and have great customer service skills. We do a personalized gait analysis, which means we kind of have a personal fitting process. If you're coming in and looking for shoes, we're not just going to kind of leave you up to the shoe wall to figure out which one looks nice. That's normally how people buy shoes. But we want to see exactly what kind of natural stride, walking stride, running stride, your mechanics are doing. So if you need a little bit of overpronation stability, we've got shoes that have light stability, moderate stability, full stability shoes. We have shoes that are neutral, where you might not need that extra stability. We want to see exactly what kind of shoe you need for your foot, which is different than my foot. And again, we have premium products. So we're not selling $40 or even $60 shoes like at Kohl's. These shoes and the apparel and the gear and everything we sell is high quality, which doesn't necessarily mean a higher price tag, but sometimes it does. But you get what you pay for nowadays, especially when you're wearing something maybe day in and day out, taking them up in the mountains and running through the winter in it. You need something that's going to last. So we only provide quality products. Okay. I don't want to go on and on about the business itself. You can see that on our website. One thing I will say just with this slide is this is kind of my logo, kind of mission statement, identity, tagline slide. I kind of put everything in one place with everything I really didn't think I needed to think about, but I did need to think about before we got going. So I have a friend that helped me out with the logo. He's a professional graphic designer, and he did a great job, I think. But one of the things that it didn't catch me off guard, but I didn't really see coming, was I came to him wanting a logo. And he sat me down and he started asking these weird questions like, why do you want to do this? And I was like, I want a logo. And he's like, no, why do you want to do this? Like, why do you want to change your life? Like, what's the purpose of your company? Not what are you going to be doing every day, like selling shoes, gear, apparel. but why? And what are customers going to think about when they walk in your store? What are they going to like see? What are they going to smell? What are they going to remember when they leave? Because they're not going to remember your products for the most part. They're going to remember you. They're going to remember the culture that you build. They're going to maybe remember the logo. That's part of it. But he kind of opened up that conversation to make it a lot bigger than I thought. So he's asking me things about a mission statement or an identity or a tagline, and like things that are going to be internal with me and my employees, as opposed to things we want to market that are outside. So we are the Chippewa Valley's premier specialty running retailer. That's how we can kind of say what we do. Now there's a lot there, but all that to say, this identity is kind of what we market, what we advertise to other people. And then behind the scenes, our mission statement is this: we move to help people move. That's the whole reason we exist. We move to help other people move. So walking, running, the fitness arena, right, is kind of what we're helping people with. They're coming in looking to further or start their walking, running, mostly triathletes maybe. But we're the ones that move. This says a lot. So like in the store, you're like sitting down, you're nice and comfortable. You're going to be trying on all kinds of shoes and stuff. I'm the one that's moving. I go get you the next size. I'm the one that has to have the urgency. You get to leave and then go on your run later. But we move. We provide the best customer service you'll ever find in Eau Claire. That's kind of, again, this is kind of behind closed doors. I don't like to advertise that. But that's my goal. That's what I'm going to say to my employees. We're the ones moving to help people move. Okay? Tagline. I have this on our door. Fast or slow, let's go. Okay? It sounds really kind of small and cheesy, but this says a lot. This means it doesn't matter how fast or slow you are when you go out for a walk or a run, or you enter your first 5K or your 10th marathon. You could be the first one across the line, or you could be the last one across the line, or you could not even give a rip about racing. You want to just like be in good, comfortable footwear every day, like nurses and teachers and people that are on their feet for a long time need to be. You still need the same support. So fast or slow, it doesn't matter. Let's go. Let's get to that next goal. Let's get you in the right footwear. Let's get you in the right apparel. It doesn't matter where people's like previous running history are. I think sometimes it's actually a detriment for myself and my wife to come from the competitive world, because we did a lot of competing at the collegiate level after college and stuff. But what we love is when people come in and they explain, I was never a runner until I was, 55. That's when I started running. That's the kind of customer that makes us come alive. And they need the same product that someone that's been running since they were 5 does. All right, a couple more things. This is our store, kind of as it stands right now. I guess these were taken maybe after our grand opening. So we're right down on South Barstow Street. If you know where Hooligans is, we're right next to that. Okay. The outside shot, we had to do a lot of paint work. That's all concrete actually. So I had to put about 10,000 coats of paint on that. And this is in the back of our store. It's kind of back here. There's a TV, there's a kids area. We have 3 kids, so they probably use that the most, but I love it when families come in. We want a place where people come in and they want to stick around, right? So you're not just coming in and buying your shoes and then we'll see you in 6 months. If you're coming in and you're not even a runner or a walker and your spouse is looking and shopping and you're kind of dragging around, right? It's a Saturday. I want you to be able to come in, sit down on the couch and read something you've never read before. We have volume 1 back there. I want you to feel like you're walking into a place that Eau Claire takes pride in. So this is kind of everything that we're thinking about. When you walk in, we have our local shirts and hats right here. So you walk in, you see Eau Claire stuff. It's not Brooks or Nike or Saucony stuff. You want to feel like you're part of Eau Claire. So that's all very intentional with kind of how we have it set up. And let's see. Speaking of that, probably some of our best selling products are the locally owned or the locally printed Blue Ox Running and Eau Claire, Wisconsin type of apparel, mugs, hats, that kind of thing. So that is part of our culture. We want people to feel like they're in Eau Claire when they're in our store. Okay. I'll leave you with this. I am brand new and probably not very good at this. Okay? I don't know if I'm good yet. I'll leave you with this. This is mile 78 of a 100-mile run that I did. Okay, this is the Western States 100-mile race. You go through the Sierra Nevadas, you start in Lake Tahoe, you go up a big mountain, you come down a bunch of mountains, you end up in Auburn, Wisconsin. Now, there's no chance I could have finished this by myself. I have a pacer here with me. This is my best man. in our wedding. This is actually my wife's brother, Eau Claire alum, FYI. This is my dad, Eau Claire alum, FYI. Okay, this is mile 78, my lowest, worst feeling mile of the whole day, by far. My eyes are sunken in, way down on calories, not eating enough, not drinking enough, and my weight was down. And then I got to pick up at the river crossing Joe Yuhan, Eau Claire alum, ran cross country and track a couple years before me. Now this picture is significant to me, and this is why. I'm feeling like garbage. He's done this race 2 other times. He's been top 10 before. And this is what I take away. Okay? It's not about, gotta be careful. You have to have a certain amount of experience and know-how and strategy and planning. And it is important for you to have your ducks in a row. Absolutely. But I surrounded myself with people that had gone before me, right? People that have done the same thing and have experience. I surrounded myself with them, particularly in this race, Joe, who got me back online, got me enough calories, knew what my stomach needed, knew what it didn't need, and off we went. Okay, made a comeback, finished the race. Success story. But this speaks to kind of how I've been operating over the last year. Okay, so as I was in Washington, D.C., and I know I'm going a little long, sorry. As I was in Washington, D.C., as I was in Iowa at these other jobs that I'm working, I found myself just doing what I love, which is running competitive races. My wife was working at a specialty running store in Washington, D.C. I'm around these specialty running stores that are essentially harboring community and bringing in people that have all different backgrounds that love to run. Now, getting to know the owners. Over the course of like 6 or 7 years, I have in my phone now 5 to 6 different families that have done the same thing that I just did this past year. So I think it's invaluable to know people that have done the same thing that you want to do. I was mentored by 3 different running store owners from La Crosse, Wisconsin, from Cedar Falls, Iowa, from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I know a buddy of mine that opened up a Fleet Feet in the Quad Cities. I still have to date texting and phone call access to one of the biggest running store. It's not a chain, but they opened up 8 running stores out in the Washington, D.C. area as a husband and wife specialty running store, family-owned business. So those are the people that are feeding my business right now. I think that's invaluable, okay? Our 3 promises, I've kind of gone over. I'll just kind of leave this up here. This is kind of my closing slide, but I know I've kind of wandered every which way to talk about the business. The biggest thing that I could give you advice on is this. Do what you love your whole life. Like literally find a way to continue to do what you love. Will you have a business out of it? Will you make a living out of it? I don't know. I don't think everyone's called to do that. Some people don't like to make it their living because it kind of becomes they like it as their side hobby. It's a ton of work. I was up at 3:45 today finishing my accounting. Tons of work, but it feels very different working 70 to 80 hours a week right now doing what I love and kind of part of our life than 40 hours a week at my old desk job. Completely different. So I'll close with mentioning why my morning was different than my other jobs. Like I just mentioned, tons more work overall when I look at my week, but this is the first job I've ever been able to take my 2nd grader to school, right? So I'm up super early. I'm a morning person. I run and read and do accounting stuff in the morning, but I get to actually see my kids more in the morning. So my wife and I are able to, and we're still figuring our schedule out, we're able to kind of be flexible and fit all that work into these little pockets of my schedule. I don't have to drive in to start work. I can do it in my jammies on my couch. So you can be a little bit more creative. That's what I like right now about where we're at. And again, I'm still figuring stuff out. We've been very fortunate to see a good market and a good community that we love embrace Blue Ox Running.